I started working for Ronald Reagan in the campaign of 1984. I was a volunteer at the Reagan Bush headquarters in Washington, D.C. And then I went on to work at the inaugural committee, and that was the inaugural in January of '85 that was so cold in Washington that we ended up having to cancel the parade. And a few days after the inaugural, I was asked to join the staff at the White House in the Presidential Advance Office, where I worked with an extraordinary group of people for 4 years. And one of my favorite stories of Ronald Reagan comes from that time period. In June of 1987, we were in Venice, Italy, with the president for the G7 summit. This was just prior to his very famous speech on June 12th at the Brandenburg Gate in Berlin. But this was June 10th, and he was supposed to be having meetings with the other heads of state. It happened to be my birthday. And so in order to celebrate my birthday, I thought I would take 15 or 20 minutes and go with a friend and sit out at one of the tables at a cafe on the Grand Canal and just watch the heads of state boatcades go by on the Grand Canal. And I was sitting out there having a cappuccino with a good friend of mine. And all of a sudden, I heard over my shoulder the president's voice. He sang "Happy Birthday" to me, the entire song. It was extremely memorable for reasons, because it was embarrassing. One, I couldn't stand, and I was in the presence of the President of the United States, which made it very awkward. But what I realized later was that nobody on the patio stood up, including my very dear friend sitting across the table from me, and she told me later that it was as awkward for her as it was for me, because it's just tradition that when you're in the presence of the president that you stand. And she said she watched him walk all the way across the patio and approach me silently, and it turns out that nobody on the patio got up because it would have given the secret away. She had made arrangements with one of the president's assistants to do it. It was extremely awkward, but it made it very personal, and I will never forget it as long as I live. And I still am privileged to be able to work for Ronald Reagan. I work at the Reagan Foundation now, and I serve as the Chief Administrative Officer. I've been with him now for over 30 years, and I consider it to be an extraordinary privilege to still be associated with him.